Fantastic. All right, 1 second. All right, recording should be on right now. How are you doing today, good sir?
I really am feeling great. You have an incredible voice.
Thank you. I got this Sam Alvey hat to commemorate, but it won't fit on my goofy head, so I got to take it off. But I got a lot
Okay.
of questions for you. You've been making the rounds online, not just as a fighter. You've been beefing with a liberal sketch comic. That made me laugh. How did that happen? How did that start?
Oh, so the whole story. I made the video before I realized he was big, like he was just some guy with a mustache. Then I just stitched his video a couple times, and he responded like, "Oh." And I tell you what, the internet's a mean place. Oh, his I think he has like 3 million followers or something like that. His 3 million followers vastly outnumbered my close to 200,000. But I had so much fun making it.
Yeah, I really don't get the beef because he was like, hey, no, what was this video? He was challenging everybody to a fight, and then he said, I'll fight you, and then he's like, are you serious? Are you serious? I don't get that. I
All
was
right, so
mad
it's
confused.
there's a bit of a story. Stick with me. There's a guy named Ray. He's on TikTok. Ray and I are friends on TikTok, so he's a good dude. I like him.
All
He
right.
made a video challenging anyone in the world. Hey, I will fight any liberal creator. Let's do it. I heard it, and I heard anyone about my size. The internet did not. So in his video, every giant, like massively big person, liberal creator said, "I'll fight you, Ray. I'll fight you, Ray." So Ray made a second video saying, "Listen, bros, I remove it from the table. I don't want to fight you guys. I was talking about someone my size, like Harry or Dean or someone roughly the same size."
Yeah.
And then the internet went nuts on him. Then good trouble is his name. He's the mustache fella. Mustache guy came on and said, "Oh, you're a punk." And so I stitched that. Said, hey, maybe I'll take it. Any two of you, because no one of you will take me up on it. And then good trouble doubled down on me. So all right, game on, son. So I made my little video, and it took me like 12 minutes, and it was the most fun I think I've ever had on TikTok. And I think it turned out great. It was the nicest response I could have ever had.
Yeah, man. I mean, you still managed to like keep up a positive demeanor. That dude was such a I just don't get it. Like he was trying to like big like I don't get it. He's like, oh, like I've never heard of you, but like you may be able to beat me in a fight. I'm like, dude, all right, this is the heavyweight champion of karate. He could definitely probably beat you in a fight.
Yeah, well, I could probably ride a bike faster than him too. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
he's a bicyclist, from what I understand.
Oh, okay. Well, I have some questions about karate combat as well. I guess my first question is just like you went from the fighter in the UFC I mean, some of your fights, some of them were, I mean, the one I forgot his name, but one of them was a robbery. But you went from people were like, oh, this guy hasn't is the what like the longest fighter without a win to go into karate combat and just out of nowhere you have elite striking. How did you develop that? Where did you find that? Tyrone Spong, like this was so people were like, oh, he's just fighting Tyrone Spong. Tyrone Spong hasn't fought in a while. I was like, no, Tyrone Spong is a pretty like legendary fighter. He has some crazy wins. He pushed you up against what's it called? Like the arena in karate
The
combat.
pit. He pushed me up against the wall of the pit.
Push you up against the wall of the pit. You took your back leg and you springboarded it off and hit a body kick. I was like, all right, damn, like he's really good at karate. Like he's developing some really good skills. How did you do that at, more like closer? I mean, bigger guys retire later, but people are like, all right, Sam Alvey, he's probably not going to win this one. You definitely shocked the world. How did you get those skills?
You know what? I've always had the skills, but the arena makes a difference. In the UFC, and most of my career, I have been a counter striker. I back up, I strike, and it lands.
Yeah.
People figured that out in the UFC, and with the cage, you can play with the cage, and I always did. You can't take me down off the cage. Like I was unstoppable there. But people figured me out, so they just started blasting me. I moved myself into the pit, and I can't back up anymore because if I back up, I end up on the pit. I end up falling over, and it's not a good spot to be. So the pit forced me to become a better fighter, a different fighter. I have to go forwards now. So that when I knocked them out, it wasn't a counter strike. It was an offensive. I was leading that exchange, and I just landed. So that pit changed the way I like to I like to move. I no longer move backwards. It is now I'm a forward pressure kind of fighter.
Yeah, and that's like it was super cool to see. I was watching it live with somebody. Somebody was a pretty big I have a friend named Idaho. He was a fan of Tyrone Spong. I was like, nah, Sam Alvey's gonna kill him. I just feel it. I feel it. I gotta thank you for proving me right. That was such Such a nice feeling. I absolutely screamed like a maniac. That was a crazy knockout. And interestingly enough, you called out Andrew Tate. What led you kind of like to do that? Why?
So I called out Andrew Tate when I fought in Nashville about a year ago.
Yeah.
This time I called out Eddie Hall.
Okay, so you called out Eddie Hall. So, oh, that'd be yeah. I remember better. So you've called out a lot of people. Why
I
Eddie
called it
Hall?
anyway.
Why
Uh,
Eddie Hall?
at the end of my life, I'm
Yeah.
gonna look back and I'm gonna be able to talk to my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids, and I'm gonna be able to tell them I fought and beat the world's strongest man. My great grandchildren will not care that I fought Tyrone Spong, who is the greatest kickboxer to have ever lived, and that I beat him. They won't know who that is. But when
Yeah.
I can say I beat the strongest man in the world, uh, that is a legacy that I can leave forever. That is something I will be able to pass down. My great grandkids will be able to tell their kids how their great granddad beat the world's strongest man, beat a behemoth of a man, and that's what I would like. I would like the opportunity to prove through generations that I am the baddest man alive.
Damn. I mean, that's kind of sick. Has there been any talks of that with President Awesome? How have you started negotiations? Is that something that looks like a plausible thing to happen? Because Eddie Hall is down to take these
Karate,
like freak show fights. Like that's something that realistically is a possibility.
Karate Combat wants it. They reached out to Eddie Hall before I landed back in America. The fight was over in Dubai. They reached out. And so I said, hey, is it a possibility? Said, yes, we're trying. And a few days later, said, all right, we reached out to Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall. So you know how John Jones is not fighting Tom Aspinall? He's just asking for too much. It's his
Yeah.
way of not saying no, but just asking. That's what Eddie Hall's doing. Eddie Hall's asking for 1 point something million, and nobody's going to pay that. If we had it, we would. We just don't have it.
Yeah, I mean that's understand. I mean Eddie Hall probably I don't know how much he has to be making like boatloads of money, I would assume, right?
I, you know,
But
I'm sure he
pricing
did. I
pricing
mean,
yourself out,
he,
pricing also like would you be down to do like an open weight fight too?
oh yeah, I'll fight wherever. I mean, this last fight, so I'm the light heavyweight and heavyweight champion.
Yep.
This last fight, I was about 240. I'm too small for heavyweight, but I'm their champion, and I'll fight anyone they put in front of me. Eddie Hall is likely 350, 360. He's more than 100 pounds heavier than me, and I would jump. I would jump at the opportunity.
Damn, that's super interesting. I have a couple more questions. First off, just like in karate combat, you're the double champion now. The Eddie Hall fight, it's right there. But like, what was gonna happen? People were like, oh, this is Sam Alvey's retirement fight. Sam Alvey, he's not gonna be Tyrone Spong. Tyrone Spong's, one of the best kickboxers ever. You knocked him out cold. I think the ground and pound was super nasty too. If you would have lost, would you have hung him up, or do you want to keep fighting?
I'm fighting until they put me in the ground. I love this too much. My body is holding up. I still feel mentally sharp. I speak well. I'm about to reach my prime. I've always said when they come to a time when I don't think I could beat me from 10 years ago, that's when I'll stop. And right now I'm 39. I would beat the brakes off 29-year-old Smiling Sam.
Yeah, man. Okay, no, I also saw you did take it a couple years ago. You made a return to MMA. You fought Cheeseburger Cameron Graham. Would you ever come back to mixed martial arts? Would you ever do
You know,
that?
yeah. So Graham was a stud. Or I mean, he was. I couldn't find a fight. I left the UFC and I accepted everyone. I mean, BKFC, they kept throwing names. Yes, 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 and every opponent said no. I offered to fight some guy on 2 weeks' notice on Christmas Day in Russia, and they said no. I
Yeah, that
couldn't
would have
get a
been
fight.
crazy.
So, and so I reached out to B2, who was the organization that gave me my last fight before the Ultimate Fighter, and I said, anyone, I'll fight any weight class, anything you got. Said, we got you. And so they reached out to Cam Graham, and Cam was a game opponent. He was a guy very similar to me. He just wanted to fight. He did give me a new respect for weight classes. Though, like I think I weighed in at like 230 with my clothes on, and he cut weight to make 265. And during the
Yeah,
fight, I felt every pound. Like, oh
Cameron, he's a very big boy. Cameron Graham's got to be like massive. I want to give this a brief interview, but I have one more segment, right? I want to know. I'm gonna give you a list of people. I want to know if they get a Sam Alvey smile or if they don't. So if you just say yes or no, I'll say the name. First off, John Jones.
no,
All right,
biggest cheater in
interesting.
MMA. His biggest cheater in MMA.
So you think he's a duck, just like Eddie Hall is right now, pricing himself out?
Yes, yes, that is what he's doing, and he's holding the belt. And besides that, the way he's ruining his reputation with the MMA fans right now, the eye pokes, the drugs, the cheating, the elbows, the knees, all illegal. His entire career is based on cheating.
Damn. How about Mr. Tyrone Spong, your last opponent?
Big smile. He's great.
That's nice. All right, how about the 46th president Joe Biden?
Uh, no,
No smile, no smile
no
for
smile. I will laugh at him a lot, so maybe that's a smile, but no smile.
No, I think a lot of people are curious. A lot of people have been, matchmaking this. How about the Cuban Rebellos of Spain?
It's going to happen. Well, I shouldn't say that it's going to happen. There is a tournament happening,
Okay.
heavyweight tournament. The winner of the tournament gets a shot at Smiling Sam. Robellis is in the tournament. It's a 2-day tournament happening in July. So I've been told, and the winner gets a shot at my belt. It'll likely be him, and I'll be there to smack him down when the fight gets offered.
Damn, okay, because a lot of people were like, hey man, Rebellos of Spain is, a lot of people are pegging him as the number one contender. How do you think a matchup with that, you're just always game? What do you think about Rebellos and his skill set? Because he is like beating Tyrone Spong, one of the best kickboxers of all time. He is literally one of the best karate fighters of all time, Rebellos of Spain. Would
Yeah, yeah. I would. It would. I would be scared to death leading up to it, and I would get ready. I'd spend my camp getting ready for it, and then I'd smash him. He is 6'8", 265 pounds, Olympic bronze medalist in Taekwondo. He has 3 fights in karate combat have ended in under 24 seconds total combined. He's a scary opponent. I am scarier. I have beaten more. I don't know that I've beaten bigger. I have once as an amateur. I would smash him. I would drop him. I'd find a way to tire him out. I'd find a way to not get caught by his big right.
Now, another question because like I found this like really interesting about karate combat. Not saying that you would use it, but how do you feel about like that takedown kind of ground and pound rule? I find it a very like definitely like adds a different fold. It makes it more of like a proxy kind of like it's just pretty much like MMA, but with not no like threat of like, hey, you're gonna get held down and laid on for like it's very good with their breakups too. What do you think about the ground game in karate combat being implemented?
I love MMA, but the most boring part of MMA is when it goes to the ground. It is. Everyone likes
Yeah.
to stand up. The ground is needed though to find out who the best in the world is. Karate combat is taking the best of both worlds. Karate combat allows the takedown if it's entertaining, which means a throw. You're allowed to throw somebody, you're allowed to body lock somebody, but no shots under the hips. And then when he goes to the ground, as long as I'm punching him, they're gonna let me keep punching him. They're gonna stop the punching as soon as there's a lull in the action. So they just keep everything moving fast.
Now, historically, Robellis has had quite a struggle with that aspect of the game. His ground game has been tested a couple times in the UFC by Austin Lane, by, somebody else took him down. I think it was Waldo Cortez Acosta. Would that be the game plan, or are you looking to stand and bang with Robellis?
I have better stand up than the Olympic bronze medalist. I would knock him out.
Wow, all right.
I would not need to take him down.
All right, Mr. Sam Alvey. That's all I have today for you today. But thank you so much for having me on, or thank you so much for coming on for a couple of minutes. This has been Smiley Sam. Do you have any crypto that you want to rug pull or anything that you want to?
Yeah, buy the karate coin. Bet on me. I'm going to be an underdog when I fight Rebellis, and
Yes.
I'll
Oh
make you
yeah,
a lot of money.
I
I
forgot
will
about the
make you
karate
a
coin.
lot of money.
I forgot about the karate coin. Yes, buy karate coin. Buy Sam Alvey. Follow Sam Alvey. Thank you so much for coming on. This has been No Chill MMA. Have a great one, guys. Thank you for coming
Have a
on.
good one, sir.